you?
Okay. My name is Z. I'm from California.
Hi,
And your question is?
Could you make a parasite cleansing pill? Or could you take ivermectin, which is from a plant, that molecule, and put it into something?
That's a great question. Could we make a parasite product? Yeah, we could, definitely. Now let's think about this. This is cool. How would we make a parasite product? Like what genes or what biological activity would we work on if we wanted to make a parasite product? Something for your gut. Okay, good. Yeah, so we could make like a gut health, gut microbiome product with the intent that we could kind of, if the gut's so strong, it could kind of prevent a parasite from getting a foothold and shuttle it out of the body. Is that what we were thinking? Okay, cool. That's good. That's a good idea. What else? Oh, I know. What if we chose a gene in the parasite and we had a small molecule from a plant that shut down that gene, kill the parasite?
Yes.
Wow, you guys have good ideas. That would be cool. That would be really cool. So we would choose a gene. Should the human body have that same gene? No. No. Why? Because that would shut us down. We don't want to do that, right? Okay, so we would choose a gene that's specific to a parasite, but not the body, and we'd use a molecule to shut it down. Now, isn't that cool? Right, we talked about molecules turning on and off genes. This molecule would be like sabotage, genetic sabotage. Whoever knew that as a scientist you could be like an assassin? Kill someone, parasite. Wow, that's cool. And the parasite wouldn't even know it. It would be munching on the food. While it's okay, good. So yeah, we could definitely make a parasite type product, right? What we want to do though, we want to make it different and novel and unique. Because there's a lot of different parasite products. A lot of them kind of immobilize the parasite. It kind of paralyzes them a little bit. So then when you have bowel movements, it flushes the parasites out, because parasites actually swim around and they can feel the tremors of a bowel movement coming on. And you know what they do when they feel those? They slide right into the cilia, the hair-like lining of the intestinal system, and they hold on. They burrow in there, and they prevent themselves from being flushed out. So yeah, parasite product is something that we're thinking about, and it's definitely something we can do. And I love what you said, ivermectin, great molecule. It's a lead, right? So we could use ivermectin itself. Is ivermectin allowed in supplements right now? No. But there's ivermectin-like molecules. We can look at the mechanism. That's a good idea. We can look at the mechanism of action of ivermectin. Like, how does it work? How is it doing this? And then we can see if there's other natural molecules from plants that do the same thing, that maybe are allowed in supplements. Or what we could do is we could have an assay, a parasite assay, and then the plants that we are studying, we could take those molecules and run it through the parasite assay to see, boom, does it light up or not? Wow, we've just had a brainstorming session on parasite cleanses. Maybe we should do that next time in our board meeting, Dr. Schneider. Okay, great question.
All right, question over here. Your name? Question.
Marisa from Pennsylvania. I have a little bit of a different question. If you had 5 minutes or less to talk to a physician about the proactive wellness benefits for their patients, how would you approach it? Because 50% of the time they're interested in 50% of the time because they don't have the educational background on nutrition. They don't even want to take the time to process.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So the question is, if you had 5 minutes, how would you explain to a medical doctor the concept of proactive wellness and the concept that they need to incorporate into their clinic for their patients? Wow, what a great question. Any thoughts? How would you do that? Board members?
Do you want Dr. Schneider to answer this question?
Chair Schneider.
Dr. Dan, I have a couple thoughts on that.
Okay, please, Steve.
Yes, I would talk about credibility. And I talk about three things that makes this, and their ears may perk up. We have scientific studies on absorption. We have a scientific study on epigenetics. All our products are in the PDR. And I think if that doesn't get them, I'm not sure what will. but I think that's a great place to start. And when I approach doctors, those are the first things that I talk about.
Awesome. Okay.
We have a question over here. Your name and where are you from?
Hi, Laura Banks from St. Petersburg.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. So, as I understand it, glutathione is a major precursor to a lot of what's working in our body. Can you explain what plant that comes from, or the origin of that? And also, could you explain mitochondria?
Yeah, I'd love to. So glutathione is a wonderful molecule. It's part of the antioxidant system of the body. And there are plants that contain glutathione in small amounts. Cruciferous vegetables contain glutathione, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower. What we do to get glutathione in really good amounts, we love yeast. We really do. We love yeast. Yeasts are really good producers of molecules. The great thing about yeast is I can program a yeast. Now, I'm not talking about like genetically modified or whatnot. Yeasts are very malleable. You know, like that person in high school, you would say, oh, I bet you can't do that. And before you know it, they're like doing it, like crazy stuff. Yeast, what you can do is if you feed yeast certain nutrients, yeast have so many different genes, you can push it to produce different molecules. And so what we've done is we've naturally produced glutathione in high amounts, in high purity, through using yeast organisms as factories to make glutathione. Now, does that mean our products contain yeast? No. It means that we use yeast to make things. Like our yeast glycoprotein matrix technology Vitality A. Do they contain yeast? No. But we use yeast to produce these highly bioavailable vitamins and minerals. Okay? And then mitochondria. That was the second question, right? Mitochondria. Let's have a doctor. Yeah, he wants to explain mitochondria to us. Dr. Derek, want to explain that?
I knew you were going to come.
I was looking at him. I was looking around, and then he and I were locking eyes, and like, yes, that's the person.
Okay. Mitochondria in a nutshell in under 1 minute?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. 2 words, Krebs cycle.
Wow, that's really good. I thought he was going to say power plant
Yeah.
of the cell. He says Krebs cycle. He's diving deep into the chemistry. I like
I want to
it.
go to the powerhouse of the cell, basically produces something called adenosine triphosphate, ATP, at the cellular level in the mitochondria. You either have it or you don't do anything.
And what product can help with mitochondrial health?
With mitochondrial health, I would say my favorite one would have to be the eTurn
And purify.
Purify.
and Purify. Purify makes the body more efficiently use the mitochondria, and I think the eTurn gives it more fuel in order to do what it needs to do.
Great.
That was more than 30 seconds, sorry.
Thank you. Okay, other questions?
Okay, I have a question over here.
Okay, then we have some here.
I am Olga from Dallas,
Hello.
and we just talked about GLP-1.
Yes.
Now, my understanding is that a lot of people are losing weight, but now we have the snack people
Yeah.
that are going to try to put blockers, GLP-1 blockers. Are we going to do something to prevent that in our products?
So again, are we going to do something?
Are we going to develop something to override their blockers?
Okay. We could. That's a really good question. So GLP-1, everybody's trying to get on the GLP-1 craze, right? Is Ozempic allowed in the supplement industry? No. Mounjaro? Semaglutide? No. So what people are doing, a lot of people are using marketing, right? They're taking the classic polyphenol-like formulas, and then they're like ripping off GLP-1, and they're just slapping it out. Ta-da! Now we have a GLP-1 product. I think it's so crazy. It's like, really? You really just did that? You know, that would be like rebranding Eternel. It's no longer Eternel, it's GLP-1L. Yes, we just changed the name. I mean, come on, really? You think we're that dumb? Yes. Yes. It actually works a lot of times, doesn't it? Yeah, but we could develop something like that. We're thinking a lot about GLP-1, right? Because, oh, I erased it. Because if we have our GLP-1 gene, right, and it's producing GLP, and this is a protein. One of the cool things about a molecular approach, so what we do is we take a molecular approach. So if we want to activate GLP-1, if we want to produce more of that, what can we do? What are things that we can do? Look at this from a molecular standpoint. What can we do? I mean, we have the promoter region, right? And then we have all these little proteins that are here, and they need to recruit RNA pol 2. That kind of looks like a smiley face, sure, whatever. RNA pol 2, and we need to recruit it. What are things that we can do from a molecular standpoint? Give them more of it. Okay, good. Enhance? Yeah, so if we want to enhance this gene, what if we found molecules that could actually cause this recruitment process to happen at lightning speed? Agonists, exactly. So what if we found GLP-1 agonists? What if we found RNA pol 2 agonists, where we can make this happen at a faster pace? The thing is, when you understand molecules, when you take this molecular approach, you can do things that no one else has done before. Has anybody developed RNA pol 2 agonists? No. Something that pulls things down faster? I haven't heard of it, right? If you could do that, wouldn't that be a cool technology? Finding new molecules that bind this together specifically for GLP-1, not for other genes. Because these are slightly different per gene. Wow,
if you could find molecules that would last all day long, because typically GLP-1 burns fast in the body.
Wonderful.
So if you could find molecules that would be able to keep it steady and high functioning all day long instead of just morning.
Did everybody hear that? Find molecules they can activate GLP-1 but do it throughout the day. Have longer pharmacokinetics. Have a longer half-life. That's really cool. Look, we just came up with ideas, didn't we? Hey, don't patent these, okay? I need to go get my lab notebook out. Take a picture of this. But you see what I'm saying? This is the power that comes when you're looking at things from a molecular standpoint. People that don't look at things from a molecular standpoint, what would they do? How would you figure out this problem?
Call you.
Call me. What would you do? Yeah, you'd call someone, wouldn't you? You'd call a contract manufacturer. That's what they do. They call a contract manufacturer. Hey, bro, I need a GLP-1 product. There's no innovation in our industry. A lot of times, no innovation. People are taking the same old tired stories and they're rebranding it. They're taking CoQ10. Oh, now it's GLP-1 Q10 Energy Plus, right? But when you look at molecular discovery, this is what fires me up. When you take a molecular approach, you can really do something powerful. Sorry, I'm getting passionate about this, but really, that's why you should join us. That's why everybody should join us. Do you need to be an expert in this mumbo jumbo? No. Simple, 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 simple. That's for us to figure out, right? We have our meetings, we talk about it, we figure this stuff out. You? Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing what we developed. And it's that simple. Let's just go share. We don't need to be crazy. We don't need to be experts. We just share. And love. And try the product and love the product and share.
Dr. Dan, we have a question over here. What's your name and where you're from?
Dr. Bob Green from Palm Springs, California.
Hi, Dr. Bob.
So I want to react to the question someone asked about approaching physicians. I'm a board-certified internal medicine physician in practice in Southern California. And and what Dr. Szabo just said is a lot of physicians, when they hear about the PPR, the clinical studies, the SAB, the fact that the companies, that the results are really great, and you get into some of the nitty-gritty, some of them will be impressed. However, there are a lot of physicians out there that are scared of malpractice. So,
scared of what?
Malpractice.
Yep.
And you're not gonna get, a lot of physicians will not get into anything that is not FDA approved. So what I tell people who ask me, how do I approach my physician? Because in the little black lettering on our products, it says, don't take this until you check with your physician if you've got any medical conditions. And most of us over a certain age have some kind of medical condition. So what I suggest to people is make a copy of all of the ingredients in the products, and you can easily get that on the side of the boxes. Take it to your physician, show the physician the ingredients, and say the following: I really want to go on these products. I have a lot of friends and family who are having great results. Doc, is there anything in this list of ingredients that I'm giving you that's going to interfere with any of the drugs or treatments you're giving me? And if he gives you a yes, it's fine, you can then go on it, but you're not necessarily going to hear him say, yes, I recommend these, because he doesn't want to put his neck on the line. God forbid there be an adverse reaction, something happens, the next thing you know, he's facing a lawsuit. But if you want to get your physician's approval for these products, just show him the list of ingredients. Now, obviously, if you're on Eliquis or a blood thinner, or you're in chronic kidney disease or facing dialysis, he may say, no, you can't go on these. And then, believe it or not, some distributors have come to me as a physician and said, well, should I listen to him? And the answer is, of course you should listen to him if you have your faith in him. But 99% of us are going to get the go-ahead to take it. The other comment I want to make is about ivermectin. There was meant, back in the COVID days, we were told to get on that and it would cure COVID. My daughter, who happens to be an equine veterinarian, says it's used extensively in horses, but there's all kinds of side effects, so be very careful about taking that, even though you may see on the internet hype about taking it for every remedy going. Just be careful. And Dr. Dan, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bob. Great comment. Did everybody understand what he was saying about recommending products and doctors?